I'm Tim Roble and welcome back to my Garage Custom Shop. On today's episode, I'm going to do my 1 month review and talk a little bit more about Everlast's new Power imig 140. Now this is a 115 volt machine that plugs directly into your wall, utilizes the latest in IGBT DC inverter technology, and why I ordered this machine was primarily to weld in our 35 thousandths to 65 thousandths panels in our restoration project. So that being said, let's talk a little bit about wire selection for this machine. If you're going to weld on a lot of thinner stuff, you may want to choose the 025 or 0.6 millimeter wire, and that'll take you up to about 160, 170 thousandths in material thickness before you start running out of wire speed on your infinite rheostat here. So I went to go purchase 25 thousandths and they were sold out. So I went with probably the broadest range wire for this little unit, which is a 030 or 0.8 millimeter. So I got that loaded up and I've been using this machine for about 3 weeks on a restoration project before I started thinking like, wow, I wonder if I can get away with using this little machine as my primary welder in the shop. That being said, let's talk about what's the thickest I ever weld up in the shop. For myself, it's about 250 thousandths thickness or 1/4 inch. So I said, wow, if I can weld 1/4 inch with this little unit, I think I can get away with just having this unit and getting rid of my big 250 amp machine. So what I did is I cut a test sample of 250 thousandths and tacked it up and welded it up, and I thought, wow, this will make a great video because this is a broad range for a little unit. So let's do a welding scene and you tell me what you think. Anytime I'm doing a piece like this, I try to go in and establish 4 really good solid tacks, and that's going to help from this thing pulling when I get my first bead really burned in. You can see how I pause just a little bit with the torch and I'll let that shielding gas in the post flow. That'll help when I'm burning across these beads just to have a nice clean solid weld on it. On a T-joint like this, when I'm getting ready to weld, I'm thinking about technique, and I'm going to spend about twice as long directing the heat towards the bottom piece, and then I'll just kind of come up and whip up top and then back down for a count of 2 and then up for a count of 1, and that really allows it to burn in good. Well, there you have it. We burned in some 1/4 inch material with some 030 wire. Did really well. I did have the wire speed maxed out. Voltage is set on 9. That being said, if you're going to weld like, let's say 3/16 to 1/4 inch with this unit a lot, I would definitely recommend some 035 or 0.9 millimeter wire. That extra 5 thousandths I think will help a lot. But I'm really pleased with how well this burned in. Bead consistency's nice, and I'd have no problem having that to be a trailer hitch or, you know, a welding fixture table. For myself, primarily messing with automotive and motorcycles, primarily I tend to run between about 65 thousandths and 125 thousandths. That being said, I cut up and I notched some 4130 chromoly and welded it up with this little unit, and it did it outstanding. So if you want to see that, that's going to be next week's video. Thank you for visiting the Garage Custom Shop. I'm Tim Roble. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll catch you here next time.